Have you ever tried to make that soft, nostalgic indie pop sound like Clairo, but your tracks end up feeling sterile or a little too clean? In this video, I want to show you how to make a bedroom pop song like Clairo, all using stuff you probably already have laying around your bedroom studio. So let's get started with step 1, acoustic guitar. For this, I mic'd up an acoustic guitar and played some jazzy extended chords. In fact, let me show you the chords. We first have a C major 7. We then have a D6 add 9, which I just found out is called that. Hopefully it is called that. I'm not even sure if that's right, but it's this. We then go to a G major 7, and then back to C major 7. You don't necessarily have to be like 𝗕𝗘𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘 to come up with stuff like this. If you really wanted to, you can just search up extended chords and pick a few chords and call it a day. Now, I recorded one guitar track because I wanted it to be in mono. For intimate stuff like this, I want the guitar to be behind the vocals. I don't want it to be alongside the vocals. It's gonna kind of sit behind as like a background textural element, not so much like a big main upfront element. First, before we start, I apologize. I have White Woman's Instagram by Bo Burnham stuck in my head, so if I start singing that at all, just forget I'm doing it. The acoustic guitar processing is super simple. There's 2 plugins and it's being sent to a room reverb. The first plugin is Shep's Omnichannel, just for some light compression, light EQ. And that is the only thing I did. So that's cool. All right, let's listen. Now that sounds all well and good, but we want some color, we want some grit, we want some lo-fi-ification. So we put tape mellow-fi on here, and this is what it sounds like. A little more home recording sounding. Apart from that, I just sent it to my room reverb, and the room reverb is just this little thing right here. You can use any room reverb. I don't even like this room reverb, but it's on my template for some reason. And that's the entire acoustic guitar sound. The goal is the aesthetic or the vibe. It's not really the polish. We're not making a Taylor Swift song. But that's just acoustic guitar. Bedroom pop really opens up when you add step 2. Electric guitars. By the way, if you're confused about where to start with your equipment and your plugins, I've got a free production toolkit available in the description. It's going to tell you all the plugins I recommend and use all the time, as well as the equipment I use all the time. So if you want a little guideline on what you should invest in, go ahead and click that toolkit link below and download it. Check it out. For the electric guitar, I plugged my Stratocaster directly into my interface, and I use no amps, no pedals, just a chorus effect. Let's talk about this guitar. It's just a DI signal, really simple, with some chorus on it. That's it. I don't even know what else to say. Not even being sent to anything. It's literally just a DI signal with some chorus on it. As for the specific part, contrast is kind of a big thing here. Instead of playing the exact same chords, I'm playing more lead lines and maybe some chords, but like melodically, maybe doing some hammer-ons and stuff. And so blending that with the acoustic guitar has some nice character and some nice contrast. But in the choruses, I did want to have a little bit more power, so I played more chuggy things, more like brick chords. Brick chords, does that make sense? Just like chunkier chords. Okay, now we want to add power to the last chorus. I feel like the last chorus is kind of the hit it home type of thing. So we want to add a guitar that has some more drive, some more character in it. And I love using this patch called Lizzie's Praying. I built it in Amplitude. If you want it, it's in the custom shop pack for Amplitude. And if you want that, it's on the store. Sounds like this. And if we blend that with the acoustic guitar and the other electric guitar, you get this nice little foundation for the rest of the song. And that is the electric guitar. All right, now we've got that dreaminess. Now it's time for the movement, which means it's time for step 3, drums. For the drums, I kept it extremely simple. I didn't program them. I didn't overproduce them. I literally just used a single loop. Now you can do your own drums, whether you actually record the drums or you use samples to make your own loops. This was kind of like already the sound I was going for, so I didn't really bother doing my own independent drums. These are loops by Jake Reed. He has a sample kit called Super Dead Drums 2, and they're nice little indie vintage kind of tapey drums. I used one loop the entire time, this one right here. You can go as versatile as you want with these drums. You can drum in your own tom fills, use Superior Drummer, add cymbals, all that stuff. For this, I'm just shooting for a bedroom pop vibe, so the drums are just going to be on a loop. I'm imagining a little kind of speaker playing a drum loop on it. So the drums do not change, but of course we add energy around those drums, which helps the drums not feel boring, helps the rest of the song not feel boring. As for the tone of these drums, I threw rabbit tape on there. It's a great Safari Pedals plugin, has some nice color in it. I also threw it through a compressor, and then after that, I threw it through a transient designer. This is going to add a bit of attack, and I also took a bit of sustain out of there. Without those plugins, it sounds like this. And with them, so just warmer, more vintage. You can hear that like noise in the background. Really nice for this song. All right, now that the movement is in, the drums are kind of carrying it a bit forward. We want to add some glue and some groove, which means it's time for step 4, the bass. But first, hi, I'm Matchler. I'm a producer, engineer, and coach. So if you're looking for help finishing your song, whether it be with full-on production services, just a mix, or some coaching to help you get to where you want to be musically, I'd love to chat with you about the project, so click the Work With Me link in the description below. The bass is what's going to be carrying the feel of the entire song. Because the drum is a loop, nothing really changes, so we can't rely on a static drum loop to make us bop our head. That means we don't want to go for like a supportive bass line with like some root notes being played. We want a rhythmic part, a bass track that feels alive, a bass track that's going to make you groove. Now the bass, I would say, is like one of the most important parts of this production because the drums are loops, the guitars are somewhat simple, so we want the bass to carry the rhythm to make you dance. So if you play bass, obviously that helps. If you don't play bass, you kind of want to do a variety of short, long, staccato hits, on beat, off beat, syncopated stuff, just to keep it surprising and groovy. I'm going to play the bass part with the drum part so you can see what kind of bass part I came up with. And then as for the actual bass tone, I use this plugin called Bass Dude, which I've been using. It's pretty good. I think an important part of the bass tone is not adding too much drive. I kind of want a clean bass tone and then have like a little bit of tape drive after, but I don't want to drive the amp and make it distorted. I then added some air and some attack with the EQ, and then of course threw it through some tape saturation. Before the processing, it sounds like this. And with it, sounds like this. All right, let's combine the elements we've talked about so far and see how far in we are. As you can see, we've got pretty much the entire foundation there. We got the drums, the bass, the guitars. It sounds nice. It sounds pretty full, but there's a couple things we have to add to really wrap it up. All right, now that the foundation is in, it's time to bring in the rest of the color with step 5, synths and keys. The bedroom pop sound kind of thrives on this like weird, intimate, and charming, simple character, which means it's totally okay to play weird, simple parts on weird, simple instruments. I first used a brassy Diva patch. It was actually the default patch in Diva, and I let it pop out in the mix. Don't be afraid to make your synth a lead instrument. So here's a little brass patch I found on Diva. Actually, I think it's the default patch on Diva. So as soon as you open it up, you have this sound. It sounds like this. Because the majority of the song is pretty static, we do want to add these like instruments that kind of take the listener by surprise, I guess. This lead actually doesn't come in until about halfway through the song. Now, a classic part of Clairo's sound is like dirty, high synth or guitar sounds. I kind of did this with just a toy piano here. I went into Omnisphere, or I guess Keyscape, and I chose toy piano saucer bell underwater. And then to add some color and some drive to it, I threw it through the Silver Llama amp from Safari Pedals. Just a nice driven, dirty, gritty sound. And lastly, we do want to fill up a little more of the frequency space. So I use this felt piano that kind of acts a little bit like a pad. It's more of a piano, but it's nice and long and the tail's nice. It's got a little bit of reverb on there, so it kind of fills up a lot of the space. It is this double felt grand dash clear patch, and it sounds like this. Kind of just playing the regular chords, couple inversions, something a little bit differently. I'm not like a huge piano player, so I'm kind of just making up as I go. And all those synths slash pianos together sounds like this. So now we made it through the entire instrumental. Let's give it a listen and see how it sounds. And lastly, now that we have the instrumental, it's time to add some vocals. The vocals have to feel soft and intimate, not overly processed. Think of it as like singing a new song to your friend in a room. The vocals aren't supposed to be about power, they're about vulnerability. Breathiness, soft consonants, a little wavering pitch. That's what makes it feel personal. I don't sound like Clairo. I don't even think I sound like very indie pop, but I threw some vocals on and did a tiny mix, so I'll give you a little guideline on how your vocals should sound if you're making music like this. First things first, I recorded a vocal lead. And I can't take it. Every single day that I said please. A little emo, actually, now that I think about it. But after recording that line, I've recorded 2 more of the exact same thing, so I can pan them left and right. Not hard left and right, mind you. This one's like 28 left, the other one's 23 right. And I can't take it. Every single day that I said please. And lastly, I threw a de-esser on there. I threw some EQ on there with CQ. This just had some like nice kind of harmonics and some drive to it. And then a little bit of fresh air just to get some shimmer. And we put all that together and it sounds like this. And I can't take it. Every single day that I said please. And you just left me all behind and thought you'd find your peace. And you can't make it to look inside your mind and figure things out. Figure things out. And that's how you make a bedroom pop song like Clairo in your bedroom. If you're an artist that wants to make songs like this or want help bringing your ideas to life, click the work with me link in the description below and tell me about your music. Guys, I forgot to shoot an outro for this video, so I'm going to do it using this gimbal that I got because it's really fun. Look, it tracks me. Whoa. Whoa. Don't look over there. Don't look over there. There's nothing over there. That's the sad state of the studio behind me. Anyway, bye. White woman. Oh, white woman. Oh, you're still following me. Oh my God. Ah.